Welcome to San Academy Palikarnai, Class 7 Social Science. Happy day, students. We are going to learn our next chapter from Social and Political Life, chapter number 7, Markets Around Us. Topics to be covered: Markets Around Us Introduction, Weekly Market, Shops in the Neighborhood, Shopping Complexes and Malls, Chain of Markets, Markets Everywhere, Markets and Equality. We go to the market to buy many things like vegetables, soap, toothpaste, masala, bread, rice, dal, clothes, etc. If we make a list of goods that we purchase, it would be really long. There are many kinds of markets that we may visit for our everyday needs. These can include shops, hawker stalls in our neighborhoods, a weekly market, a large shopping complex, perhaps even a mall. So in this chapter, we are going to look at some of these markets and try to understand how the goods that are sold reach the buyers, who these buyers are, who these sellers are, and the sorts of problems that they face. Weekly market. A weekly market is so called because it is held on a specific day of the week. Weekly markets do not have permanent shops. Traders set up shops for the day and then close them by in the evening. Then they may set up at a different place the next day. There are thousands of such markets in India. People come here for their everyday requirements. Many things in weekly markets are available at cheaper rates. This is because when shops are in permanent buildings, they incur a lot of expenditure. They have to pay rent, electricity, fees to the government. They also have to pay wages to their workers. In weekly markets, these shop owners store the things they sell at home. Most of them are helped by their family members and hence do not need to hire workers. Weekly markets also have a large number of shops selling the same goods, which means there is competition among them. If some trader were to charge a high price, people would move to another shop where the same thing may be available more cheaply or where the buyer can bargain and bring the price down. One of the advantages of the weekly markets is that most things you need are available at one place. Whether you want vegetables, groceries, or cloth items, utensils, all of them can be found here. You do not have to go to the shop to different areas to buy different things. People also prefer going to a market where they have a choice and a variety of goods. Shops in the neighborhood. We have seen that the weekly markets offer a variety of goods. However, we also buy things from other kinds of markets. There are many shops that sell goods and services in our neighborhoods. We may buy milk from the dairy, groceries from departmental stores, stationery, eatables, or medicines from other shops. Many of these are permanent shops, while others are roadside stalls, such as that of the vegetable hawker, the fruit vendor, the mechanic, etc. Shops in the neighborhood are useful in many ways. They are near our home and we can go there on any day of the week. Usually the buyer and the seller know each other, and these shops also provide goods on credit. This means that you can pay for the purchases later, as we saw in an example. You might have noticed that there are different kinds of sellers even in the neighborhood markets. Some of them have permanent shops and others sell their goods on the roadside. Shopping complexes and malls. So far, we have seen two kinds of marketplaces: weekly markets and markets in our neighborhood. There are other markets in the urban area that have many shops, popularly called shopping complexes. These days, in many urban areas, you also have large multi-storied air-conditioned buildings which has shops on different floors known as malls. In these urban markets, you get both branded and non-branded goods. As you have read in the chapter on advertising, branded goods are expensive, often promoted by advertising and claims of better quality. The companies producing these products sell them through shops in large urban markets and at times through special showrooms. As compared to non-branded goods, fewer people can afford to buy branded ones. Chain of markets. In the previous sections, we have read about different markets from where we buy goods. From where do you think shop owners procure their goods? Goods are produced in factories, on farms, and in homes. However, we don't buy directly from the factory or from the farm. Nor would the producer be interested in selling us small quantities such as 1 kilo of vegetables or 1 plastic mug. The people in between the producer and the final consumer are the traders. The wholesale trader first buys goods in large quantities. For example, the vegetable wholesale trader will not buy a few kilos of vegetables but will buy in large lots of 25 to 1000 kilos. These will then be sold to other traders. In these markets, buying and selling takes place between traders. It is through these links of traders that goods reach faraway places. The trader who finally sells this to the consumer is the retailer. This could be a trader in a weekly market, a hawker in the neighborhood, or a shop in a shopping complex. We can understand this with the help of the following examples. Every city has areas for wholesale markets. This is where goods first reach are then supplied to other traders. The roadside hawker whom you read about earlier would have purchased a large quantity of plastic items from a wholesale trader in the town. He in turn might have brought these from another even bigger wholesale trader in the city. The city wholesale trader would have bought a large quantity of plastic items from the factory and stored them in a godown. In this way, a chain of markets is set up. When we purchase, we may not be aware of the chain of markets through which these goods travel before they reach us. So far, we have seen different marketplaces where people buy and sell a variety of goods and services. All these markets are in a specific locality and work in a particular manner and time. However, it is not always necessary that one has to go to the market to purchase goods. You can place orders for a variety of things through the phone and these days through the internet, and the goods are delivered at your home. In clinics and nursing homes, you may have noticed sales representatives waiting for doctors. Such persons are also engaged in selling of goods. Thus, buying and selling takes place in different ways, not necessarily through shops in the market. The markets that we looked at above are the ones that we recognize easily. However, there are markets that we may not be so aware of. This is because of a large number of goods that are brought and sold that we do not use directly. For example, a farmer uses fertilizers to grow crops that he purchases from the special shops in the city, and they in turn get them from factories. A car factory purchases engine, gears, petrol tanks, axles, wheels, etc. from various other factories. We don't usually see all the buying and selling, but only the final product. The car in the showroom, the story is similar for any other goods. Markets and equality. So in this chapter, we have looked at shop owners in a weekly market, those in shopping complex. They are very different people. One is a small trader with little money to run the shop, whereas the other is able to spend a lot of money to set up the shop. They also earn unequal amounts. The weekly market trader earns little compared to the profit of a regular shop owner in a shopping complex. Similarly, buyers are differently placed. There are many who are not able to offer the cheapest goods while others are busy shopping in the malls. Thus, whether we can be buyers or sellers in these different markets depends, among other things, on the money that we have. We also have examined the chain of markets that is formed before goods can reach us. It is through this chain that what is produced in one place reaches people everywhere. When things are sold, it encourages production and new opportunities are created for people to earn. Thank you.